Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a truly special and nourishing hour that we're going to have together here. It's called Discover the Radiance Sutras of Sound, sound healing to tune your body as an instrument for awakening. My name is Stephen Dine. I'm the founder and CEO of the Shift Network, and today is going to be medicine for me, and I'm sure it's going to be medicine for you because we're going to get to dive in with a remarkable pioneer in sound healing and teacher and empowerment guide. Her name is Christine Stevens. She's an author, sound healer, and music therapist. She's brought healing into some of the conflict zones of the world through sound. She has done so many remarkable things that we'll hear some about today. If you want to go further with her, we're also really excited to have a brand new course with her. It's called Sound Healing with the Radiance Sutras, and we'll share more about that towards the end of the hour. So, Christine, thank you so much for coming back and offering your blessings in a time when there's a little bit of upliftment needed in our collective. So, thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your journey. And since we're focusing on the Radiant Sutras, it might be really beautiful to talk a little bit about your journey, not just as a sound healer, but particularly into the Radiant Sutras of sound as a vehicle for awakening and healing.
Yeah, well, about 12 years ago, I had a powerful awakening experience. Everything was glowing, talking to me. There was so much vibrance. It was psychedelic, but it was very natural. And I found this text translated by Dr. Lauren Roche, who actually were memorializing someone in this moment. He just recently passed away, very recently. Big loss for me and many of us. But his teachings are alive in his work. It was his life work to translate the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. So the Sanskrit. Lauren Roche is like the Coleman Barks of Rumi. He brought us the translation from this tantric Sanskrit into a modern, exciting book of these 120 sutras. This is a book that in my awakening journey, I found Lauren, I practiced meditation, took his trainings, and we also created these sutra jams that was pioneered by Dave Stringer and Denise Kaufman. So we would take a sacred text and we would jam it. And this became part of the kirtan scene in Southern California. I had a sutra band here in Encinitas for about 7 years. And what I kept finding is when I would sing the text, I would get the meaning, I would get the message, and I would also remember the text. Like we all know about mnemonics. When we sing our ABCs, in fact, it's hard to speak your ABCs without singing them. Like we all remember things. So this text, dated at about 800 AD in the Kashmir area, was always sung. And every single sutra is 32 syllables. So 4 lines of 8 syllables. And that's a sacred meter. And then when you say meter, I think drums. So there's a translation that happens from Sanskrit to English to music. And that's what I want to bring into this course. So my journey was discovering this book, The Radiant Sutras, and discovering Dr. Lauren Roche and Camille Maureen, his partner, going to Esalen, doing retreats, 12 years, maybe 15 years now ago, and finding that this book is a manual of being a householder. You know, we want to be spiritual, but we don't live in monasteries. We're householders. We're building our altar in our kitchen, right? And so I wanted to find a manual, a book that would inspire how I can live at this frequency, because it's hard. You know, it's challenging when you reach that feeling, when you have that energetic shift. But we all are awakening. And that's why we're at the Shift Network. We're drawn to the call to awaken at this time. Our change in consciousness benefits everyone. That is a big, strong feeling I have in this course. And in this practice we're going to do today is that I did a lot of peace activism in my life, went to Iraq, I've gone to war zones, disaster zones. But really, when I raise my frequency and I practice, I am making a better world. I believe. And so this book helps me, and I wanted to share it with you all today to know how to live as a radiant, luminous being on this planet, in my home, in my daily life, where I'm still checking my cell phone, getting my groceries, functioning and grounded, but yet radiant and luminous.
Well, it's certainly where we're all aspiring to live from. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more about the tantric philosophy underpinning this sort of like for people who maybe associate tantra with just sexuality practices. This is really sort of a broader understanding of what tantra means in our spiritual journey and process. Maybe share a bit about that and how it relates to sound healing.
Yeah, well, the simplest connection is that the tra is a tool, mantra, yantra, tantra, has to do with these polarities, this non-dual state, that rhythm and silence are actually part of one big vibration. And we all can say that rhythm leads us to silence. Why is that? They're not opposites. And the other interesting connectivity is tantric has to do, one of the many, many definitions in Sanskrit is Pali's meanings. So it has many meanings, but one of the definitions is the tension on the drum head,
Hmm.
the tension of the strings, the loom, that weaves things together. And so there's instrumentation of tantric practice. It's the tension between the sides of the drum that creates the sound of the drum. And that is the tuning. Why these sutras I'm going to share with you today, two of them in the Sutra Jam practice, it's about our self-tuning. We are the instrument.
Mm.
So how do we tune ourselves? Breath, sacred remembrance, mantra, all these great practices, and really empowering you to find your favorite way and practice that, which is the Sanskrit word sva. Sva is your. So sva tantra, your tantric practice, your svatala, your rhythm. That is the key in having a juicy meditation practice. We're not all ready to sit and go, Om, right? That's one approach. That approach is great if you live in a cave in the mountains. But I'm in this functional world, I've got phones and these things going off. And so how do I create my tantric practice? And this is a great place to follow tantric practice. It has a sexual theme in some ways, but it's original, ancient. This is 800 AD, super ancient roots, is the polarity of the masculine and feminine, or the Shiva Shakti. And that's how this whole text is set, in a conversation between the feminine, Deva, asking, what is this radiance we are born into? And Bhairava, Shiva, answering, here's 120 answers that all are based in your experience. And the last thing I'll say about that that's interesting is that 20 of these out of the 120 short, they're all 32 syllables in Sanskrit practices, they're like poems, are about sound. And when I first got this text, fell in love with Sutra 18 that says, immerse yourself in the rapture of music. You know what you love, go there.
Mm.
And to each note, each string, rising from silence and dissolving again. Vibrating strings draw us into the spacious resonance of the heart. The body becomes light as the sky, and you, one with the great musician, who is even now singing us into existence. And that sutra really saved me, gave me comfort. And I had never seen a meditation book that talks so much about sound and music. It's like, what is this? We need this now. Many people have sound healing instruments. They've learned to reconnect to the drum, the flute, the bowls, the gongs, any instrument. It's time to get them off the shelf and
Mm.
use them in our meditation, our active meditation.
Mm. Well, that was an exquisite sutra and beautiful illumination of the sort of the deeper currents of Tantra and leading to this embodied, juicy, divine life. And yeah, so want to sort of ask a little bit more about this tuning process and how you're working in a sutra jam or in the sutra practice to sort of like that each of those stanzas or each mini poem is sort of like tuning you in a certain way.
Well, that each sutra has like an advice. Sometimes it'll say, go there. You
Hmm.
know what you love, go there. And that's just a really good example, that little phrase, immerse yourself in the rapture of music. It doesn't say, notice the music in the background. It's like, immerse yourself. And you know this if you go to a concert, it's like, I'm in the music, a sound bath. The sutras were written in 800 AD. They talk a lot about sound baths. Immerse yourself in the music, go there.
Mm.
That is like a demand, that's like an invitation. So, what we do in a sutra jam is we read the text and then you notice what word or phrase resonates with you. I mean, maybe you noticed it as I said, that small sutra, Sutra 18. When I heard it, I really connected to the great musician
Mm.
is
Yeah.
still is singing us into existence. I had never thought of the divine as the great musician.
Sure beats like a punishing Yahweh throwing thunderbolts at you.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
it gets us out of, is God a man? Is God a woman? It's like the great musician is singing you
Yes.
into existence. So you listen for what's powerful to you. It's
Uh-huh.
all about you, your individuality. Whereas I think a lot of meditation practices are very like structured and here's how you do it. But this is more listening to what you feel pulled to. And then I would just take that phrase and sing it with the harmonium
Mm.
over and over. Or I might throw in a Sanskrit word like shabd. Shabd is the sound current. And there are two different words for sound and music. So Sangeet is music and Shabd is the sound current. So I think both are really part of these teachings.
Mm. I love that. I'm still kind of like resonating with the great musician because it's such an intimate and more juicy way to think of the divine too. It's like really beautiful. I know you have you want to do a few different demonstrations here today. So do you want to sort of get us rolling with one and then we can kind of build on that?
Great. I'm going to start by just sharing this slide of my teacher, Dr. Lauren Roche. I am so grateful I got to sing to him for a couple of hours just weeks before he transitioned. And so this is a picture of him and a little flyer from one of my first sutra jams in Encinitas 15 years ago. And just honoring him, his teachings continue, his school of instinctive meditation goes on. And many of us will continue to sing his teachings. And so then I'm going to put up this next sutra. And this is the idea that one of the key words in this sutra, number 32, is that you are the instrument that breath is playing. Now, I grew up learning piano. There were 88 keys, that were 87 possible wrong notes. And so if anybody here is a survivor of piano lessons and music lessons, it was stressful. And so I love the idea that I'm the instrument. Breath is playing me. And I would like to maybe just read it and then bring in another musician who's here in Encinitas with me, Ari Marsh, and then we can play it together for you all. So the sutra says, strong or soft, wild or serene, wherever breath flows, there is song.
Mm.
I would just say, notice what captures you, what you really resonate with. Here it's whisper touching behind the face, singing in the throat, dancing spirals in the sanctuary of your heart. fall into the open embrace of life. You are the instrument, breath is playing. All the meditations you have ever loved are vibrating in this luxurious hum. This is your school, just you and infinity. The texture of the self is untamed freedom.
Mm.
And the word for that is sva-tantra. Your texture, tantra, the loom, the textiles, the tuning, the pull between pieces of string that creates a Peruvian rug, that tension. You are sva-tantra. The texture is untamed freedom. Hi, Ari, welcome.
It's great to be here. That was beautiful, Christine. Everything you shared. Fantastic.
So we're improvising. We don't know how this is going to go, but we want to sing the text to bring it to you. Yeah. Nice, go ahead. Wherever breath flows, there is song. Wherever breath flows, wherever breath flows, wherever breath flows,
Wherever breath flows,
wherever breath flows. Come to think of it, I'm always breathing. Wherever breath flows, wherever breath flows.
wherever breath flows,
Wherever breath flows,
wherever breath flows,
there is song. So let's all take a breath. Let it turn into song. Fall into the open embrace of life. You are the instrument, breath is playing. Let's do that. Fall into the open embrace of life. You are the instrument, breath is playing. Fall into the open embrace of life. 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 Fall, 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 fall. Just feel that open embrace of life. We have to fall to find it. Let's hear the sound of the guitar. The open embrace of life. You are the instrument. You are the instrument. Breath is playing. You are the instrument.
Breath is playing.
Breath is playing.
You're the
Instrument.
breath is playing.
Okay, let's just play with that. Your turn. This is not just watch, you do it now.
Breath is playing.
Take a nice breath.
Breath is playing.
Let's do that again.
Breath is playing.
This is your school. Just you and infinity. The texture of the self is untamed freedom.
Texture of the self is untamed freedom.
Makes you want to make a sound. Woo!
The texture of the self
Is untamed freedom. As we begin to fade out, we're just going to fade into silence. We want to hold the resonance. As we fade out, we're going to hold the silence at the end to just feel how it vibrates, the vibrating, dancing particles of emptiness. Silence holds. You are the instrument. You are the instrument. Breath is playing. Take a breath, add your notes. So I just invite you to ask yourself what was the word or the phrase or the experience that resonated with you. Ari and I were improvising, like you can't plan. If you want to be present to these teachings, you want to just let them sing you.
Mm.
Yeah. So you are the instrument. I think for me, it was strong to hear, this is your school. Just you and infinity. Vast teaching list.
Beautiful and profound.
Beautiful and profound.
Yeah. Yeah, what I love about it is that so often it's like we get used to reading at a certain pace and then we sort of digest it and move on, but it's like you're really savoring it, you're working with, you're kind of weaving it into your cells with this practice. And so it's like those core messages get really infused into your whole field in a deeper way.
Very well said.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's also just it's clear like how much fun you two are having too while you're doing it. And it's like that's the best state for learning.
And it really changes your entire physiology and psychology. It puts you in an incredibly blissful, peaceful state.
Yes, the Sanskrit word is the
Amazing.
bhav, the bhav. We talk about that a lot in kirtan. It's like the bhav, this state of energetic resting. And yeah, imagine doing this for an hour or two. And the beautiful thing is that this is how this text was preserved, was singing it. So here, thousands of years later, we're using that teaching, as you said so well. When you sing it, when you take your time, when you repeat certain words, you don't have to sing every word on the page. You just grab a few that really are energetically powerful. And I call this practice prana melodica. It's like my breath turns into song.
Totally beautiful. Great. Did you want to do another example now, or you want to sort of share a little bit more first and circle back?
Let's do another example while we have Ari, and he's also a great drummer, and I wanted to bring you all a sutra that speaks to the power of rhythm. I've been a drummer and been running upbeat drum circles for 35 years, and I love the accessibility of drumming. I love the kinesthetic power of drumming. It's like when we drum, we feel this like power, right? It's like it moves us. Rhythm speaks to our cells. So I found this sutra. I'll read it and then we'll improvise with it. Number 60. Rocking, undulating, swaying, carried by rhythm. Cherish the streaming energy flooding your body as a current of the divine. O Radiant One, ride the waves of ecstatic motion into a sublime fusion of passion and peace. I feel inspired to try to read it for you in Sanskrit. Luckily, the Sanskrit is phonetically spelled. Chala asane, chisasha atha, shaya va deha chalanat, pra shanti, mana bhave devi divya agyam apugat. Rocking. Just rocking. Feels so carried by rhythm. Ride the waves of ecstatic emotion. Sing it a little. Ride the waves. Ride the waves. I just invite you all to move a little. That's what drumming is. The waves of ecstatic motion. Ride the waves, ride the waves. Carried by rhythm, carried by rhythm. Oh, radiant one. Oh, radiant one. Ride the waves, ride the waves of ecstatic motion. Cherish the streaming energy flooding your body as a current of the divine. Cherish the streaming rhythms flooding your body as a current of the divine. Nice. A sublime fusion of passion and peace. Passion and peace. So just find your own rhythm now. Are you swaying? Are you rocking? Are you undulating? Is your heart beating with the drum beat? The Sufis are rocking in zikr. The ocean is undulating as it travels to the shore. The mother is swaying the baby. We are carried by rhythm. Oh, radiant one. Oh, radiant one. Ride the waves of ecstatic motion. Ride the waves, Svatala. Feel the motion in the current of divine. Feel the motion, the waves. Oh, radiant one. Ride inside and the rhythm. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you, Ari,
My pleasure. Thank
for
you.
bringing your magic
So
too.
beautiful. Thank you. Namaste.
He's actually a surfer, so when it says ride the waves of the
Yeah,
rhythm, he's a
he's
drummer
working it from
surfer.
multiple angles.
Multiple angles. You have to.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Lots of love.
Great. Well, Christine, I mean, it's so yummy to just drop into the practice with you, and so it's can be a little bit like shifting out of it into talking about it. But I do want to kind of keep distilling out some of the principles here for how to have that kind of juicy, embodied practice for life too. So,
Yes.
so how do you start to transition what you're doing now when you don't have an Ari next to you and you don't have music? How do you start to kind of weave it in sort of like uh, a sutra process for walking, shopping in the grocery store?
Well, you're walking, and every time we walk, we're in rhythm. When you become present to these teachings, you realize how everyday life it is. I can be walking, I can be rocking, I can be swaying, I can feel the undulation of shopping, really. And part of it is opening the book, finding a sutra. I've selected these 20 that pertain to sound, that resonate with using sound as a portal for meditation. As Lauren always says, music is an adventure, and the skills of listening to music are the same as meditation.
Hmm.
It's like following what you love, feeling the rhythm, honoring what your preferences are, letting your school reveal itself to you.
Hmm.
And so what we're going to be doing in this course is just really learning everything from the vocal practices to the rhythm practices. And it can come from speaking it, chanting it, toning it, reading it to a friend. I have a friend that we do this practice of reading a sutra in the morning on FaceTime and finding the teaching for you today. And for me, even one sutra has guided a meditation I've done for 8 years because it fits me.
Hmm.
It fits my musical skills. It fits how much I love sound. Sound is a huge portal for ourselves, not just for helping others and healing others with sound, but for ourselves. When we
Hmm.
play, I always learned that I was practicing music. My mom would come home like, have you practiced piano? 15 minutes, put it on a chart. And then I learned that music is my practice. And now I find I'm becoming a better musician, but more importantly, a better meditator, a better present person. I function better in the challenges and tasks of life. Just that last sutra, like what resonated with me was those changing rhythms carried by rhythm, because my life has changed and we're in some challenging times, as you said. And can I find how to travel and ride those waves instead of resist them, or allow a place to resist them, but also move with what's happening around me and stay present to the inner rhythm, where really all our work happens with these sutras, is going within. The heartbeat is one of the best drum beats to travel inward because it starts within. It's what we gestated. We heard our mother's heartbeat. So that's a direct path inward. I had so much extroverted life. My life was very extroverted, performing, just I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. So I was very extroverted. So learning how to go within was very challenging for me until I found these tips and these sound sutras that really helped me. So that's how you work with it. Everyone can play. I should have brought one for this call. I'm sorry, everyone, that I didn't think to bring just a singing bowl, but you can just play a singing bowl and read this. And it's a different vibration than just speaking it without a sound accompaniment.
Mm.
You might just have a small example here. If I go, rocking. I gotta change my sound setting. Sorry, guys. Aha. Rocking, undulating, swaying, carried by rhythm. It can be that simple.
Mm. I love it. We've been talking a lot about rhythm and sound, and I noticed that you really take the time to drop into deep silence in the end of each of those riffs, and maybe share a little bit about the silence portion of this and how that's also a recalibration and a reorientation to healing.
Silence is a superfood
Mm.
in a busy digital world. With a busy mind, I have a busy mind. Silence is a superfood. Sound is a pathway to silence, which is amazing because we can all enjoy sound. There's 4 kinds of silence. There's the silence before the music, the silence after the music. There's the uncomfortable silence that we all know when and then there's the silence that the Lakota word is skan skan wakan. It's the silence that birthed all sound, or the stillness that creates all motion. It's a still point. And that connectivity, that tantric journey to silence can be the exhaustion of being hard, having a hard workout, and you just fall on your bed. You're like, oh, this is stillness. Yeah. Like tension, progressive muscle relaxation. Oh. And when we find ourselves in that vibrating silence, that comfortable silence after the music, we notice in kirtan, people breathe together. I mean, I was working in the war zone of Iraq, and I will never forget day 4 of my work there, of this training group of 40 people speaking 3 different languages, enemies. And they sang and danced together, and everyone was tired, and they all sat down in silence. And we timed it. We sat for 10 minutes in silence until a drum fell and everybody laughed. And I said to my colleagues, that was peacemaking.
Mm.
Singing. We sang Arabic songs. We sang Kurdish songs. We sang Aramaic songs. We danced the Shamba Shamba Kurdish dance. We danced and we sang, and then everybody sat down and there was just silence. And I don't think if you asked 40 enemies in a war zone of Iraq to sit together in silence for 10 minutes, it could have ever happened. And silence is a medicine today for all of us. It's a powerful tool. I have a practice every week of doing 4 hours of silence. It sounds small, but it's hard. And I always leave that feeling rejuvenated because I'm a musician. So my tantric, what is the polarity? I have to give myself silence. It helps feed my music. And it makes total sense because many, many cultures, I did notice this traveling in Peru, that people didn't talk as much. They used hand motions. And I was really struck by that. I was watching people in airports, on the streets, and I remember being in Japan and noticing that there was more space in conversations between people. So, I notice in my culture, and I'm a busy extrovert, challenged person, but I found in these practices better peace is that I have to practice not interrupting people, little simple things.
Mm.
So it benefits. I'm just saying that our practice should weave easily into our lives. And that's what I see with sound. Sound is life, it's everywhere. So finding these sutras of sound, they teach us how to live.
Well, it's so clear that you really embody these teachings and these practices, and it's in just wonderfully endearing ways and just honest ways. And it's just so clear that this is really good medicine for you and for all those you touch. So I want to spend more time now talking about your upcoming course, which is a really unique opportunity to take in the medicine of this work, to sort of take on Radiance Sutras as a practice, to understand the currents of sound healing, how to reorient our lives, harmonize ourselves, our cells, and our society in really beautiful ways. So Christina's agreed to teach this brand new course. I think it's particularly good medicine for this moment with a lot of collective chaos out there. So it's called Sound Healing with the Radiance Sutras, musical expression to elevate your divine awareness through poetry, rhythm, and meditation. You can find it at rhythmsofradiance.com, rhythmsofradiance.com. It's a 7-week program. You don't have to have any musical background, talent, inclination. It's really just a pull to explore the power of sound, to realign yourself, your body, and your relationships in beautiful ways. So, Christine, I'd love for you to share in your own words some of your intentions for what people will come away with, and then let's go through the program.
Well, it's been such a blessing to work with the Shift Network, Stephen. And we've done classes on drumming and classes on flute and sound healing. And I wasn't ready to teach this until now. And I had to pay attention to my own readiness. And I was camping and I pulled this book out. I usually read it cover to cover every year. And I got this strong feeling like it's time. I had to wait till I really felt clear that it's hard to talk about the awakening journey. It's like, how do we find words for this? So here's the words. It's radiant, it's luminous, it's terrifying, it's challenging. And I'm excited that every session in this course, I'll have a guest musician so that we can really create for everyone in the course, like we did today, inspiring. Like, we want you to participate, bring your drum, your singing bowl, your voice. You don't have to know an instrument because you are the instrument. And that is why I want to bring it forward. We need more delight. It's a life preserver in difficult times.
Mm. Module 1 is called the Ambrosia of Sound, Awaken Your Divine Creative Energy.
Yes, we're going to begin connecting to Om, as defined by the sutras as the roar of joy that set the worlds in motion, that's reverberating in your heart. And so we'll be practicing and learning, what is it about that Om and how sound is an ambrosia.
Module 2, Bliss Through Sound, Trust Your Sonic Guidance.
Yes. We are going to be exploring Sangeetananda. The bliss of sound is the Sanskrit word, that great musician. How do you go there? How do you follow what you love? And that is such a key, whether it's playlists, finding the sound you love out of all the instruments in a sound bath. And I think knowing your practice, sva rasa, what is it that gives you that healing energy? That's the point of this idea of bliss. Bliss, sound is a path to bliss.
Module 3, This is the Rhythm of Life. Awaken your radiance through drum, rhythm, and dance.
Yes, we're going to explore ecstatic drumming and ecstatic dancing and the rhythm of life, which truly is riding those waves of inward and outward experiences. If you're an extrovert, if you're an introvert, it's the journey that goes back and forth in our lives. We're pulled outward. We have to make space to go inward. That is one of the keys of rhythm that I've learned from this practices. And also as a drummer, I'm excited to bring us into connection with what the drum does to feed our bodies, to give us that motion. I mean, as I age, I notice, and I ask people that are really vibrant and older, and they say, don't stop moving, you know? So rhythm is defined as the element of music pertaining to forward motion. So the idea of the rhythm of life is the pulse. The impulse is the inward one, right? The pulse and the impulse of creativity in all of us. I'm convinced that creativity is, even in the Lakota, we say the great creator, is such a critical thing. And we have a little less creativity in our weaving of modern digitalness. So finding a path of drums and rhythm and dance as creativity.
Module 4, wherever breath flows, there is song. Awaken your voice.
Yes. We're going to go more deeply into this sutra we offered you today, and also the sutras that pertain to vocal practices. And there's 4 of them that really guide you into, I had a real direct experience with one of these practices, just finding the frequency of your energy and adjusting that frequency, giving yourself that note. It's the one note practice. We're also going to explore the power of toning in Sanskrit. And I don't speak Sanskrit, right? I'm not a linguist, but the language is so full of vowels that it's really fun to tone an intention, a word, a sound that you want to embody every day.
That's fascinating. Module 5, the great hum is calling you home. Find stability in your inner sound.
The sutra talks about the ears of the soul. It says, close the ears that listen to the outer world. Open the ears of the soul. So there are currents, inward currents. And many traditions, yogic traditions, talk about the sound of a handbell, the whistle, the bird, the strings, the different sounds that take us into realms of the inner world. That great hum is the shabd. It is one of my favorite teachings that comes from Hazrat Nayak Khan, the Sufi tradition, the music of life, is that this world is singing. This universe is a vibration. How can I connect to that and bring that into my practice?
Module 6, bathe in the ocean of sound. Create your own luminous sound healing.
Yes. I love the idea of luminous sound healing, right? What are the sounds that generate the luminosity? Or the sutras talk a lot about the song of the stars as they shine in this sutra that says, bathe in the ocean of sound. It says our bodies feed on sound. This is written in 800 AD, right? So how do we find the luminous sounds within the texture of all the sound bath options and practice that, whether it's a recording or playing an instrument, and finding what part of your body is that feeding? And I love the symbol of the ocean. Bathe in the ocean of sound is sound waves. We call it sound waves. So we learn a lot about sound through the metaphor of the ocean. And so how do we bring that forward into our lives? And this is very practical. You know, there's very practical, practical advice in the sutras about how to bathe in the ocean of sound. Some of that is nature. One of the great yogic practices is going outside and listening to the wind, whatever you hear in nature. Although we have competing sounds, you know, street cleaners and cars. But if you can walk to a stream or the ocean, this is a great, lots and lots of thousands of years of tradition, practice of meditation is what we listen to. Listening, we're such a visual culture that we don't keep cultivating our listening skills. And that's really why the sound sutras are important now.
And module 7, the temple of silence, dissolve into inner peace.
Yes, so you asked about silence. I wanted to create a module about the word dissolve because it's not just end the beat and feel silence. There is a transition. In music, there's a fade in the note. That's another practice, is hearing a singing bowl and listen till it ends, letting your ears learn to get some skills. Oh, I'm listening for the silence at the end of that note. Dissolve is a symbolic word in silence, finding that silence, but dissolve also means dissolving our ego. It means dissolving into the divine and merging with a larger force, this force that is the Shabd. When I was having my awakening experience, the sutra that Lauren helped me find and really helped me says, you are stunned, powerless. You thought you knew what was going on. Now you know you don't have a clue. All the walls have come down. Go ahead and dissolve. The one who has seen much worse than this is still here. And I can only recite this to you because I sang it and I drummed it, and it was like, it gave me so much feeling that I wasn't loco, man. What I was going through, I was a little worried that I was losing my mind. Everything was so shifted. And that kind of go ahead and dissolve. Lauren, in his, it's emotional to talk about, but one thing that happened in his recent passing is that we had a WhatsApp group of people sending him recordings of the sutras. That's like his teachings came back to him in his final days, and he couldn't take visitors. And so he wrote a text to everyone to the group chat, and he wrote, I'm dissolving quickly into my light body.
Mm.
I thought, wow, what a conscious passing to be able to say, just dissolve, because dissolve is effortless.
So much beautiful wisdom in what you're sharing, Christine. And it's really a blessing to also receive the wisdom from Lauren, and through these Rumi-esque transmissions of distilled wisdom in the sutras. So beautiful, beautiful offering. And what a beautiful program. So again, there's more detail on all of those 7 modules at rhythmsofradiance.com. I'll share a little bit more about Christine's program. If you choose to move forward, you're going to get the 7 90-minute live sessions, which are going to be so uplifting, filled with interactive practices together. You can ask your questions live. You also get recordings of every session, both video and audio, which is a great way to tune yourself back up at another time or in the future. You'll get transcriptions to work with, study and highlight word for word. There's weekly exercises and practices that you can do on your own. There's a community to support you, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll also see there are a number of other bonuses Christine has been generous with. There's MP3 studio tracks with Christine and Dan Cartamil called Radiance Sutras Songs. You want to share about that bonus?
Yes, these, I think 10 tracks are great examples of how we took a sutra and we turned it into a chant, a kirtan, or a song. Not really almost a song, but just more the creativity. And I tried to put in there lots of examples. There's one of just a drum beat. There's a lot of different ways that you can do what they do all over the world, which is the invocation or the reading of the text turned into song. So these are professionally mixed, recorded, and will give you some ideas. And also, again, when you hear a song, you remember the teaching, you remember the text.
Beautiful bonus. And then there's a second bonus. It's a video teaching with Lauren himself, Dr. Lauren Roach, and Christine. It's called the Radiance Sutras of Sound. Want to share more about that?
Yes, I'm really, this was the last teaching Lauren gave before his passing, recent passing. He gave such a powerful message in music and sound for awakening.
Beautiful. And then there's one additional bonus you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. So there's a good reason to really take the time to go through the page and tune in now. And if you do, you're going to get an audio teaching from Lauren featuring music accompaniment with Christine. It's on Sutra 16, Om, the roar of joy, Pranava.
Pranava, yes, exactly. And I was inspired to This is about a 10-minute track. Lauren's readings of Sanskrit for each sutra are so powerful. You know, he lived inside this text for like 20 years before he printed it, you know, so he's really transmitting it in Sanskrit and then in English and giving a teaching about this roar of joy. And I wanted to orchestrate the background music of that. So it's my Native American flute and a kalimba and a chime, so that you get that feeling. Once again, there's lots of ways to combine text and sound.
That's a beautiful extra bonus that folks get for signing up by midnight. So clearly, this program is going to be such a blessing and really uplift you and also give you real tools to live a more radiant, joyful life in using the power of sound to heal, to realign, to open, to reconnect with your highest self. It's we've also kept the investment very accessible. It's just three payments of $128, or you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start May 27th and run Wednesdays at 11 Pacific, 2 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings and the transcripts as well. There's some beautiful testimonials from many Shift faculty members like Sue Morter and Michael Beckwith, Sandra Ingerman. Everybody loves studying with Christine. She's such an uplifting, empowering person to be around. So you're in really skilled and seasoned and lovely hands if you choose to move forward. So you are going to get a real transfusion of power and grace through music if you choose to do this course. So again, it's all at rhythmsofradiance.com, and it's called Sound Healing with the Radiance Sutras, musical expression to elevate your divine awareness through poetry, rhythm, and meditation. So Christine, beautiful hour together. I feel uplifted and blessed. I'm sure everybody else does as well. Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the course with you?
Well, I can't say enough how grateful I am to Ari Marsh for being here with me today. He's here based in Encinitas, great singer, kirtan performer, and author. And I want to say definitely this does not require you to play music. I hope that you all got that message from me. You go to a sound bath, they don't ask you to play an instrument. You're just going to be bathing in the sutras with me. And it will have a form of experiential. I'm an experiential teacher because, as the sutra says, the answer to your questions come from direct life experience. So I hope to bring you direct experience of this luminous teaching that comes from the ancient tantric times, the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra from Dr. Lauren Roche. Please consider joining me.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And again, the URL for this course is at rhythmsofradiance.com, and you'll get the Sutra 16, Om, the Roar of Joy, Pranava, when you sign up by midnight tonight. So thank you so much, Christine, and thank you all for joining.
Namaste.